Hi, my name is Alexa Foote, aka Dutty Foot, on all social platforms. I have been locked for 4 years, and I am based between New York and South Florida at the moment. So yes, I'm a first generation American, and my whole family is Jamaican. I have heavy Jamaican roots. I mean, look at this figurine set. Every Jamaican or West Indian household has one of these that are collecting dust and they're just taking up space. Shout out to the immigrant parents who are hoarders of every sort. I'm sure that stems from trauma, but yeah, I just really love being a part of the West Indian community. It really grounds me and defines me, and I love the duality of being having an American perspective, but I identify more with um, Jamaica. This is a very tough question to ask because I'm a SoundCloud girl and I listen to mixes, and half of the time I don't know the artist or whatever. Like, I'm not into playlists like that. I have a short attention span, but um, I can show you better than I can tell you. So let me play this. I love this. There's like three songs with this rhythm. That one. It don't matter, long as I'm next to you and you next to me. Hey, Choppy. Woman, you're my destiny. You're the best. And Dubai. You bring 10,000, you must get more. Just give me the money right now. This is such a great question because, the pandemic has been very serious. It has affected everyone globally, taken many lives, and it was a sad situation. But at the same time, it has transformed my life in a way that I never saw coming. I was living in New York for 6 years. At one point, I wasn't sure if I was going to have a job, right? I worked for Spotify in program management for a program called Sound Up. And Sound Up is a podcasting program to help raise the next generation of podcasters through education, workshops, and support. So I really love the mission of the work that I'm doing. And I have been granted the opportunity. Spotify has created a whole new program where you could either work from home, depending on your department and your, approval, or you could come into the office when it is safe, um, part time. So I chose to work from home forever. And, with this new flexibility that, I mean, it's due to COVID, right? Because a lot of companies were not allowing people to work from home and they didn't believe in the productivity that could happen if you're not in the office. So I have been blessed with this opportunity due to COVID, even though COVID has been a super unfortunate situation for many. So I can acknowledge that I have been blessed in that aspect. Um, Also, I really like to travel. And because I, as long as I have access to Wi Fi and I can do my work and show up and be present, nothing can stop me. That is my 9 to 5, my 5 to 9. As I stated before, I'm heavily into the Caribbean, West Indian culture, and I am currently working on an app with my business partner, and it's going to be called Tabanka. And it is supposed to be a global carnival app that'll provide all the resources, and the goal is to make carnival more accessible to everybody, right? So right now, carnival, if you're new to the carnival culture or whatever the case may be, it's like it's based on who you know, and I don't want it to be based on that. I just want it to be accessible to everyone, newcomers, old comers. Like we need to I just want to bridge that gap, and also like curate personalized boxes with all your travel essentials and everything that you need for carnival. That is what we are planning to do. So that should be launching very shortly. Like one of my top costumes was I was Lil Wayne one year, as well as Lock Dog from Don't Be a Menace to Society. Um, I was Trinidad James, Missy Elliott, Can't Stand the Rain. I got the blow up suit and everything. I was also Mr. Hanson from Scary Movie 2, The Haunted Mansion. That was one of my favorite movies growing up as a child. I'm old. And thing about I loved about Mr. Hanson, that was my pandemic costume, but it was painful as hell to get that wig on my head. But I got a custom made hand, and it moves like so. And yeah, I invested in it. It was a white hand. I asked for them to make it, but I added makeup to make it black. Shout out, I'm gonna shout out to white people. You can dress as someone that's not your race without, I didn't need to put on a white face. You still got, the message was conveyed. You knew who I was, and that's the importance of Halloween. It's like you shouldn't question my costume. You know who I am. So I really invest time, and I don't know, that's probably one of my favorites to get into character too. So yes, travel is like my favorite hobby. And my top three right now are Ghana, Philippines, and South Africa. And as long as there's breath in my body, I'm going to Ghana this December, and probably going to do a solo trip because I want to be present and I want to be super cultural. And I know there's so many ties. I love traveling so much, but the most I love about traveling is connecting the African diaspora and learning our roots in each culture, in each country, because we're everywhere, and that wasn't, the American education system failed us, and that wasn't taught, right? So as an adult, I love travel and learning like the African history in each country that I touch upon, because there is one. So I started my lock journey twice actually. Initially, I started in around 2016 with the two strand twist, and I was so impatient about the experience that I ended up taking out the twist and going back to my afro after 3 months, out of frustration. And also the ugly stage, I was trying to avoid that. So I tried again in 2018, June 26, 2018. I was doing a lot of research and looking into different ways of locking hair and different blogs. So I went to Napstar. Shout out to Napstar in New York City. And yeah, I tried the Instalock method, which took about 12 hours, and it was around $900. And basically, they take a crochet needle and like manipulate the hair into a lock. And after the end result, you're supposed to look locked immediately. But I guess due to my hair texture, it took my hair a year to fully look, to not fully mature, but to look like something. I was still very insecure for the first 6 months. I was wearing a Rasta cap. I was wearing head wraps every day. Like, I was heavily insecure. I was used to having my afro, and there was perks to having an afro at that time for me, and I feel like I hid behind my hair a lot of times, and it took me a while to gain my confidence back. But I would say, like, getting locks has been one of the best decisions of my life, and I wish I was introduced to it from young. There's has been such a negative, like, we have been so conditioned as Black people, and there has been a negative connotation even from the Rasta community, and like, locks are dirty or this, that, and the third, and that is not true. Like, it's either you're a dirty person or you're not. If you take care of your hair hygiene, then your locks are not dirty. um I want it to be natural. I just didn't want I no longer wanted to comb my hair, but I wanted to still be natural. And I wish I was introduced to this method from a young age, and it wasn't frowned upon. It's also a rebellion, right? Against the system. Because there are still laws to this day in certain states in America or even the Caribbean, right? So, that are against locks, and we still see it. And I just want people to know, you could have your locks, you could still be beautiful, you can still have that job. I could have a nose ring, I could have tattoos, all this shit that I was told from a young age. You could still be successful with those things, and I love how our generation is evolving into more acceptance of those things. So yeah, one of the best decisions. And I have transitioned so many friends. My nephew is in the process right now. But it's a lot of reconditioning and rewiring your brain to appreciating different standards of beauty. And we could still be professional, whether we're retwisted, free-formed, or whatever. You're still beautiful. Okay, so I am the worst person when it comes to hair care or even skincare. I just, I'm lazy. As far as like the thickness of your locks, I have 57 locks right now. And I learned, I told the loctician when I started, I wanted thick locks. So I don't want a bunch of locks on my head. So I have 57. So that helped to narrow it down. My locks have, as they have matured, they have gotten thicker, and that is due to the thickness of my hair. And I had to learn that because I thought anyone could have thick locks, or like as thick of a lock. And short, because I was like, oh, if you just part the hair, if you just part it in a larger section, then you could have thick locks. And that's not the case. If you have thinner hair, it's just not gonna look the same. And I think you should just appreciate what you're given, like, every lock has their own journey, and they're gonna look different. But if you want less locks, sure, it'll be thicker, but you shouldn't compare your locks to someone else, you know? Like, I naturally just have thick hair, and you cannot find my scalp. And it's a blessing and a curse because I have thick hair on my head. That means it's thick everywhere else. And, some people have thinner hair, and the grass isn't always greener. So, yeah. So, um, I don't have routine. And I would say I'm like semi freeform because like within the 4 years, I have been to a salon probably 3 times, right? So for a special occasion like a wedding, or yeah, probably a wedding. And one time I got it retwisted to see, like, oh, what is my length? What is my true length? I got it retwisted recently, but otherwise I just let my hair be free. I use Jamaica lime mango oil. They should use me. Hit me up. But I use that to oil my scalp. I wash it, I air dry, I feel like you could wash. I feel I could wash my hair as often as I want. The roots, I just let it be free. Sometimes I tie my edges down if I want a certain look. Um, I really love my nappy roots. Like, nothing is wrong with that. You don't always have to have baby hairs, and you can if you want to, and nothing's wrong with that. But it's also okay just to have your natural look. Like, this is me naturally. No baby hair, no nothing. Air dry, water. Also, what I learned is to moisturize your hair from root to tip, because I have colored ends and I don't take care of my hair. But a couple of them started to get brittle at the ends. And it's because I wasn't moisturizing it. So I would say just moisturize, spray bottle with water or oil, root to tip, or just oil it. And that's it. I just want to be. I don't like anything too complicated. That's why I love locks, because they're low maintenance, and that kind of fits into my lifestyle of being a free spirit.